The mind has a dark side. Most fear it. Few understand it. Dark Mind Insights. Master the unseen.
There is a fundamental lie we are sold about success. From the time we are children, we are taught that achievement is a community event. We believe that when we finally cross the finish line, when we break the cycle of poverty, when we finally leave the abusive relationship, when we overcome our addictions, or when we step into our true potential, there will be a crowd waiting for us. We expect cheers. We expect the people who watched us struggle to celebrate our victory. But what no one warns you about is the silence. When you start winning, you don't just gain new things, you lose people. And the quiet, unexplainable disappearance of friends, family members, or colleagues when your life starts getting better is one of the most disorienting and painful experiences of human growth. At first, you don't even notice it. It starts small. A delayed text message, a lukewarm reaction to your good news, an excuse for why they can't make it to your celebration. But eventually, you look around the room of your new, beautiful life, and you realize the people you thought would be sitting at the table with you are nowhere to be found. You start to wonder, did I do something wrong? Am I becoming arrogant? Did success change me for the worse? Welcome. If you're reading or listening to this, chances are you are standing in the middle of this exact void. We are going to embark on a deep psychological exploration of why people disappear when you level up. We are going to look at this not through the lens of ego or toxicity. We aren't going to label people as haters or adopt a bitter me against the world mentality. That is a trap that prevents true healing. Instead, we are going to look at the hidden mechanics of human behavior. We are going to explore the subconscious contracts we sign with our friends, the psychology of social mirrors, the mechanics of family ecosystems, and the profound grief of outgrowing the people you love. The goal here is simple, to help you understand that their absence is not your fault, to stop you from shrinking yourself to keep them around, and to give you the tools to survive the lonely hallway between the life you've outgrown and the life you are stepping into. But before we begin, we are Dark Mind Insights. Subscribe to our channel and let's begin. Number 1. The unspoken contracts of stagnation. To understand why people leave when you win, we first have to understand why they were there when you were losing. Human beings are intensely social creatures. We form bonds based on shared experiences. But what we rarely admit is that many of our deepest relationships are not actually built on a shared vision for the future. They are built on shared grievances about the present. Think about your closest friends from the past 5 years. How did you spend your time together? For many of us, the foundation of the friendship was complaining. You sat in the break room complaining about your boss. You sat on the couch complaining about how hard it is to lose weight. You drank together to numb the stress of relationships you knew you should leave. This shared frustration acts as a psychological glue. It creates something called an unspoken contract. An unspoken contract is a subconscious agreement between two people that says, we are in this together, and to keep this connection safe, neither of us is going to fundamentally change. There is comfort in this contract. If we are both struggling, neither of us has to feel inadequate. But what happens when you decide to break that contract? Let's look at a real-life example. Let's call her Sarah. Sarah and her best friend Emma spend every weekend ordering takeout, drinking wine, and complaining about their lack of energy and their dating lives. One day, Sarah decides she's had enough. She starts going to the gym at 6 a.m. She stops drinking on weekends. She starts reading, going to therapy, and setting boundaries. At first, Emma is supportive. Good for you, she says. But within 3 months, the dynamic shifts. Emma starts making subtle, passive-aggressive comments. "You're no fun anymore," or "You're obsessed with this new lifestyle." Eventually, Emma stops inviting Sarah out altogether. Why did Emma leave? Did she hate seeing Sarah healthy? No. Emma left because Sarah broke the unspoken contract. By healing herself, Sarah accidentally destroyed the very foundation their friendship was built on: shared misery. Psychology refers to this as trauma bonding or wound mating. We bond over our mutual pain, but a relationship built on a shared wound cannot survive in the atmosphere of shared healing. When your wounds close up, the connection loses its anchor. You are moving toward a vision of the future. They are still anchored to the comfort of the wound. If you are experiencing people pulling away right now, ask yourself this hard question. Were we actually bonded over mutual love, or were we just keeping each other company in the dark? When you turn on the light, those who want to stay in the dark will naturally walk away. It is not an act of malice, it is an act of preservation. Number 2, the psychology of the mirror. The single most powerful psychological mechanism driving people away when you succeed is something I call the mirror effect. In 1954, psychologist Leon Festinger developed the social comparison theory. Festinger proposed that human beings have an innate drive to evaluate themselves, and in the absence of objective measures, we evaluate ourselves by comparing ourselves to others, specifically those closest to us. Your friends, your siblings, your coworkers, they use you as a subconscious measuring stick for their own lives. When you were both at the same level, working the same dead-end job, making the same mistakes, you were a safe mirror. When they looked at you, they saw an acceptable reflection of themselves. They could say, "Well, I might not be where I want to be in life, but at least I'm right here with them." But then you start winning. You launch the business, you get out of debt, you find a deeply loving relationship because you finally healed your attachment issues. Overnight, you cease to be a safe mirror. You become a terrifying, glaring, high-definition mirror. Your discipline suddenly highlights their procrastination. Your courage illuminates their fear. Your financial boundaries highlight their reckless spending. You haven't said a single judgmental word to them. You haven't told them how to live their lives. But your mere existence in a state of success triggers something extremely painful in them: cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance is the mental discomfort experienced by someone who holds two or more contradictory beliefs. For your friend, the dissonance looks like this. Belief A: I am a smart, capable person who deserves success. Belief B: my friend is succeeding through hard work, and I am still exactly where I was 5 years ago. To resolve this agonizing psychological discomfort, the human brain has to find a solution. The healthiest solution would be for them to say, "My friend's success proves it's possible. I need to change my habits." But change requires immense energy, self-awareness, and ego death. The human brain is lazy. It prefers the path of least resistance. So instead of changing themselves, they change their perception of you. They have to rationalize your success to protect their ego. They will say, "He just got lucky. She thinks she's better than us now. He sold out. She changed." And the ultimate way to resolve their cognitive dissonance: smash the mirror. They pull away from you. They ghost you. They stop inviting you around. Because if you aren't in the room, they don't have to look at the reflection of their own unfulfilled potential. I need you to hear me clearly right now. Their withdrawal has absolutely nothing to do with your character and everything to do with their inner critic. Your light is simply burning their eyes because they have been living in the dark for so long. You cannot dim your light just to make their eyes comfortable. If you do, you both stay blind. Number 3, disrupting the ecosystem. Let's take this a layer deeper. Beyond individual psychology, we have to look at group psychology. In psychology, there is a framework called family systems theory, developed by Dr. Murray Bowen. But this theory applies to friend groups and corporate environments just as much as families. Systems theory states that a group of people operates like a biological ecosystem, or like a child's hanging mobile. Every piece is balanced perfectly. Everyone in your family or friend group has an unspoken role. Maybe you were the messy friend who always needed rescuing. Maybe you were the follower who never made waves. Maybe you were the comedian who deflected tension with jokes. Maybe you were the black sheep of the family whose failures made everyone else feel better about their mediocre lives. An ecosystem craves one thing above all else: homeostasis, balance, predictability. When you start winning, when you set boundaries, demand respect, achieve wealth, or step into leadership, you are outgrowing your designated role. You are pulling on your piece of the hanging mobile. And what happens when you pull on one piece of a mobile? The entire structure shakes. The whole system is thrown off balance. Suddenly, the rescuer friend doesn't know how to interact with you because you don't need saving anymore. The controlling family member is furious because you no longer need their financial help, which means they can't dictate your choices. People do not like it when you rewrite the script they memorized for you. When you disrupt the ecosystem, the group will subconsciously try to force you back into your old role. This is where you will experience the most bizarre, confusing behavior from the people you love. Let's look at another example. Consider Marcus. Marcus grew up in a neighborhood where nobody left and everyone worked the same labor jobs. Marcus decided he wanted to learn coding. He spent his nights studying, eventually landing a high-paying tech job and moving out of the neighborhood. When he comes back to visit, instead of pride, he is met with subtle hostility. His old friends make mocking comments about his clothes. They intentionally bring up embarrassing stories from his past. When he tries to talk about his new life, they roll their eyes or change the subject. What is happening here? It is a psychological phenomenon colloquially known as crabs in a bucket. If you put a single crab in a bucket, it will easily climb out. But if you put multiple crabs in a bucket, the moment one tries to escape, the others will literally reach up and pull it back down into the pile. Your ecosystem will try to pull you back. They will use guilt, shame, and nostalgia as weapons. Remember where you came from, they will say, as if evolving is a betrayal of your roots. When they realize they can no longer pull you back into the bucket, when they realize your transformation is permanent, they will eject you from the ecosystem entirely. The disappearance is the system's way of restoring homeostasis without you. It is agonizing. It feels like an exile. But in reality, it is an emancipation. No. 4. The danger of self-sabotage and shrinking. This brings us to the most dangerous part of your journey, the phase where you are most vulnerable. When the room starts emptying out, human beings experience a profound, primal fear. From an evolutionary standpoint, being separated from the tribe meant literal death. Even though we live in the modern world, your nervous system still interprets social rejection as a threat to your survival. Because of this, many people who are on the verge of incredible success will do something tragic. They will self-sabotage. Have you ever been on a streak of immense personal growth? Everything is going right, and suddenly you feel an overwhelming wave of loneliness? So, what do? You call your toxic ex. You go out drinking with the friends you swore you'd stop hanging around. You skip the gym. You procrastinate on the business. You intentionally break your own momentum. Why? Because of success guilt. You feel guilty for outgrowing the people you love. You see them struggling, you see them pulling away, and you think, if my success is costing me my relationships, maybe I shouldn't be successful. You start playing small. You shrink yourself to make others comfortable. When they ask how your business is doing, you downplay it. Oh, it's okay, still struggling with a lot of things. You lie about your income. You hide your joy. You put yourself back in the cage so your friends will come visit you at the zoo. I want you to listen to me very carefully. Shrinking yourself does not serve the world, and it certainly does not serve your friends. If you have to minimize your intelligence, hide your joy, and sabotage your health just to keep a relationship intact, that relationship is not love. It is captivity disguised as companionship. Playing small does not help your struggling friends. It simply validates their excuses. By shrinking, you rob them of the living proof that a better life is possible. Carl Jung, the great analytical psychologist, spoke deeply about the process of individuation, the journey of becoming your true, fully realized self. Jung noted that individuation requires separating from the collective crowd. You cannot become who you are destined to be while desperately clinging to the approval of people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You must develop the emotional tolerance for being disliked. You must develop the stomach for being misunderstood. When the guilt of success hits you, reframe it. You are not leaving them behind. You are simply moving forward. The door is always open for them to join you, but you cannot carry them on your back. Number 5. Navigating the void. So, what do we do now? How do we survive this transition? When you lose your old circle, but haven't yet found your new one, you enter a space I call the void. The void is the hallway between doors. You've closed the door on your old stagnant life, but the door to your new community hasn't opened yet. You are alone in the hallway. This phase is quiet, it is lonely, it is uncomfortable, and it is absolutely necessary. Here are 3 psychological tools to help you navigate the void without turning back. Tool number 1, radical acceptance and grieving the living. You have to allow yourself to grieve the friends who walked away. Society teaches us how to grieve the dead, but we have no rituals for grieving the living. It is a very specific type of heartbreak when someone is still alive, still walking around the same city, but they are no longer in your life. Do not try to pretend it doesn't hurt. Cry over it, write about it, mourn the loss of the inside jokes, the memories, the comfort of their presence, but accept that the version of them you are grieving belongs to the past. Tool number 2, compassionate detachment. You do not need to be angry at the people who left. You don't need to post aggressive quotes on social media about cutting off dead weight or snakes in the grass. Anger is just another way of staying emotionally attached to them. Instead, practice compassionate detachment. From a distance, wish them well. Understand that they are operating out of their own unhealed wounds, their own fears, and their own limited awareness. Send them love, but do not invite them back into your inner sanctuary. Your peace is too expensive to let them pay with their chaos. Tool number 3, becoming the architect of your new ecosystem. The void will not last forever. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you empty the room of people who drain you, you create the spatial capacity for people who will elevate you. But you have to go build that new ecosystem. Go to places where people are speaking the language of your future, not the language of your past. Seek out mentors. Join communities of people who are trying to grow. When you find your new people, you will experience something beautiful. You will no longer have to explain yourself. You won't have to apologize for your ambition. You won't have to shrink. They will look at your success and say, "That is amazing. How can I help you go even higher?" Conclusion. The empty room is a clearing. As we come to the end of this journey, I want to leave you with a final thought. We started by talking about the unexpected silence at the finish line, the pain of the empty room. But I want you to change the way you look at that empty room. When people disappear because you are growing, it is not a punishment, it is a clearing. Life, the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is emptying the room to protect your future. It is removing the people who would have secretly poisoned your victory. It is filtering out the individuals who would have anchored you to a version of yourself that no longer exists. The silence you hear right now is not rejection. It is the sound of making space. Space for the people who belong in your next chapter. People who will not be intimidated by your light because they are shining just as brightly. But until those people arrive, you have to pass the ultimate test. The void is life asking you the most important question you will ever face. Who are you when no one is clapping? Are you doing this for the applause of the crowd, or are you doing this for your own soul? If you can learn to stand alone in your truth, if you can learn to clap for yourself, you become unstoppable. You reclaim your power from the hands of other people's opinions. Keep building, keep healing, keep walking toward the light. The right people will find you. If you made it to the end of this journey, thank you. I know this is a heavy topic, but you are not walking this path alone. Think about a time you had to walk away from a comfortable past to step into an uncertain future. Let's create a community of people who actually want to see each other win. Protect your peace, keep your head up, and never, ever be afraid to outgrow the room. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the human psychology. Thanks for watching.